Opening statements began Monday in former movie producer Harvey Weinstein's Los Angeles sexual assault trial. Weinstein faces 11 charges, including 4 counts of rape and forcible oral sex involving 5 women between 2004 and 2013. He has pleaded not guilty. This is Weinstein's second sexual assault case. In 2020, the Oscar winner was convicted on rape charges in New York. He is currently serving a 23-year prison sentence. For more on this, let's bring in CBS News correspondent Jonathan Vigliotti. Jonathan, more women are expected to testify in this trial than in Weinstein's first trial in New York several years ago. Do we know why that's the case and who's expected to testify?
Yeah, good evening to you, John. So the district attorney today, during their opening statements, told the jury specifically they would be hearing from 8 witnesses. There was supposed to be a 9th witness identified as Jane Doe number 5, though notably she was not mentioned at all during today's proceedings, raising the question if she will ever, in fact, take the stand. We do know the identity of at least one of the victims. She has been very publicly outspoken. Her name is Jennifer Newsom, and if her name sounds familiar, that's because she is the wife of California Governor Gavin Newsom. She's a documentarian, though at the time of her alleged interaction with Weinstein, she was an actress, and she claims at that point she was called to Weinstein's hotel room for what she believed was supposed to be a business discussion, and that's when she was allegedly assaulted by Weinstein. The defense, they also had opening statements where they maintained Weinstein's innocence, but specifically targeted Newsom by name, saying, and I quote here, "She's just another bimbo who is looking to get ahead in Hollywood." So day one, I think that sets the scene of just how emotionally charged the back and forth is going to be. And we've got many weeks of this trial ahead.
Deeply emotional because it's not just, of course, about these individual characters, but symbolic of a lot of power dynamics in different industries. This trial was kind of seen as symbolic, Jonathan, because Weinstein still has 21 years left to serve on his New York prison sentence. But now the stakes are considered a little bit higher in this L.A. case. Why is that?
Yeah, that's correct. To give you some context, so in August, New York State's highest court agreed to allow Weinstein's defense there to appeal his conviction. This gives him now the distant chance at a new trial and the possibility here of undoing that 23-year-long sentence. He has served 2 years. When you speak to the DA in this case, I think he would be quick to say he's focusing on the merits of this case alone. But I think it's reasonable to suggest that there is now that added weight, that added pressure here to get a conviction in this specific case, especially if that sentence in New York is undone.
It's been 5 years now, Jonathan, since the New York Times broke this and exposed Weinstein's behavior, which sparked essentially the brush fire of the Me Too movement in Hollywood, but also, of course, across all different industries. How do you think this trial in this moment fits in that history? Where are we, do you think, in that now 5 years later, since Weinstein was such a central figure to the beginning of that movement?
Well, it's a great question. I think it's one that's difficult to know the answer to. Weinstein, you're correct to say, really sparked the Me Too movement. That movement really giving a voice and the support to victims who may otherwise have been afraid to come forward with their own stories. I think if you speak with survivor advocates here, they would be quick to express concern that a not guilty finding here at the end of this trial and the undoing perhaps of the trial in New York could cause a sense of a chilling effect on those survivors, those people who have their own stories, whether it is specific to Weinstein or other cases, from coming forward, from wanting to share their story. We talk about just how emotionally charged already day one of this trial is. You can imagine a lot of victims watching this, if there is a not guilty verdict at the end of all this, may be dissuaded from going through all of this to find justice.
And a great reminder that it wasn't just the great reporting in the New York Times and the New Yorker, but it was the bravery of those people who went on the record with those reporters. Jonathan Vigliotti in Los Angeles. Thanks a lot, Jonathan.
Thank you, John.